Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve and today we're going to take a look at the Banu merchantman and try to get a feel for this ship because I really want one at the upcoming IAE event really badly. I think it's an awesome ship. What I saw at CitizenCon was amazing. I know it's gone through several concept changes, but it is a ship that has me very much intrigued. And I have to have one, so I thought we'd make a video on the merchantman. But before we do, this is a long video, guys, so you might want to grab a drink if you can make it to the end. Bravo, you are a trooper. But before we take a look at the actual ship, we need some context to get a flavour for how it's been built, why it's been built, and who are the people that built it, which of course are the Banu. Who are these guys? What's their deal as a species? So we'll get a little bit of context, we'll dive into a little bit of lore on the Banu. It won't be an all-encompassing dive into the lore of the Banu because that's a completely separate video. So I will do my best to make it fairly quick. So we'll start off, first contact between humans and Banu. There was a guy called Vernon Tar, and he was a nav jumper, i.e. he would go out and look for jump points. Very lucrative because you can sort of, the things you could discover, you could stake a claim to, make a lot of income that way. So very sort of independent work. He was out doing his thing and he came across a unknown vessel, and Vernon, being Vernon, thought, well, I'm just going to shoot and ask questions later. He took a shot at the unknown vessel. He missed because he thought it was someone trying to steal his claim, perhaps, and he missed, and it turns out it was a Banu, a criminal Banu, nicknamed Jerry. So it was more than likely he took shots at I would have thought, a Banu defender somewhere in the verse near one of his jump points he discovered or was trying to find. Luckily he missed. The UAE called him, nicknamed the Banu Jerry, which is a very weird name to give a complete species, you know, whatever. So that's how that first contact sort of came about in the verse between humans and the Banu. They are a very sort of trade-orientated society. Their whole thing is trade. Everything is just trade. They operate in small groups. You could call them tribes or clans, kind of, but not really. I believe they're called Suli. I hope I'm saying that right. So they operate independent of each other. When a baby Banu is born, it is purchased by the state, raised by the state, and then when they find what this particular Banu is good at, they will put it to work with a Suli that specialises in that certain. So if this baby Banu grew up to be excellent at manufacturing, they might put him or her into a shipbuilding Suli. If that's what they're good at, they put the Banu, the baby Banu, find out their strengths and then assign that strength to whatever Suli works in that area. There's hundreds of them, thousands of them even, ranging all different sizes. They don't have to be related to being a Suli. You get put in a work group. That's probably the best way I could describe it. And then from there, they strive to be the best at whatever they're doing. You could be manufacturing ships, military weapons, transport, cooking, whatever it might be. They want you to be the best at it. They put you in a Suli representing that particular trade and or hobby, if you like. So it's a very sort of diverse, extravagant civilization from what I've read briefly of the lore of the Banu. Like I said, it is, to get more into it, it'd be a whole separate different video. But they like their very ornate, rare things. That's what tickles their pickle. The Banu love rarity. They love trading with all species. They don't just trade with the human race in the verse. It's also the Vandals, the Zeons, whoever it might be. They don't care. It's all about the trade. They want the best of the best. There's no second thought to that. That's their whole thing. Okay, so that's the Banu in a nutshell, and that is just literally scratching the surface. So yeah, I don't want to get too much into it because it's a rabbit hole going down that particular route. Maybe that's a video for another day. So that's their whole thing. Now, the Banu Merchantman. As soon as I clapped eyes on it, I was like, I've got to get me one of these. And I'm hoping I can pick one up at IAE, because from what I saw at CitizenCon, it was just awesome. And I like the idea of having an alien vessel, okay? Because we can only play as humans at the moment in the verse. And here's the thing with being a human, right? I've been a human my entire life, and it's boring. And I want to mix things up. And I think that's part of what this ship sort of offers, doesn't it? It's something completely different. You know, it's from an alien world. It's the sense of wonder and imagination that you can sort of capture, or at least it captured me from what I saw. So it is a very big ship, and it's been through several concept phases. As you can see, it is fairly chunky. It's a chunky monkey, absolutely. But this is the ship I'm going for. I'm not going to get into too much technical detail with it because things could change, obviously. It's not here yet. But as you can see, we'll start with some clips that we saw from CitizenCon, and straight away we have a hangar, which is also very, very nice, and it is a very big ship, so to have a Banu Defender in there is going to be very nice. And then this is another huge selling point for me. I just love the way that these weapons sort of unfold and present themselves like, yeah, you got a problem? These are size 8 weapons at the nose of this ship. That's crazy. You know, I just love the way they fold out like, yeah, what did you call me? You know, like, you really want to go down this route? I love that whole, I love how they just fold out. I think that's awesome. You know, from what I've seen at CitizenCon, this ship is just absolutely epic. Not to mention, we have a hidden turret. Pops out. Like, yeah, you want some of this? So all these little details, I just think it's so cool for me. I just really enjoyed that aspect of watching these guns sort of pop out and then fold away like it's just a friendly merchant vessel, which it is, you know. It's got 2 markets on board. It's primarily a trade ship, but if it needs to bring the pain, it will bring the pain, and yeah, that is something that is going to be super useful in the future. And it's just the design. If the turrets and the weapons were just sticking out, I don't think it would have had the same appeal to me as it does now, you know, being hidden and sort of misleading in its innocence, so to speak. We have 2 more guns here, and I think, I'm not entirely sure from the images, but I think that's sort of left or right of the cockpit bridge area. I think they're more sort of point defense weapons, I would guess, to deal with missiles and torpedoes, things like that. Because I'm pretty sure the 2 size 8s are going to chew up most things anyway. But if you were to, I don't know, maybe a retaliator comes along, gives you attitude, you have some sort of defense against torpedoes. But it's a lovely looking ship. The lines of it, everything, the way it just looks, you know, those 3 engines just look epic. Really impressed with the design of this thing. It has gone through several changes from what I've been reading and seeing. So on the underside of the ship as well, you can also see we've got some more auto turrets. So quite a lot of firepower for this ship. And again, I think these are point defense, which will be useful again for the missiles and torpedoes or anything like that, or any small fighters sort of buzzing around you, annoying you. You should be able to take them out relatively well. Not entirely sure of the size of these. If you do know, please let me know, because I couldn't find anywhere in concrete, or I've missed it maybe. But yeah, this ship in general, I just think looks amazing. It's something unique. You know, all the animations that we saw. So this would be a main entry point. This sort of ramp, if you will, unfolds, and then you'd have the public walking up this ramp into the ship, into the markets, buying all your wares that you've discovered throughout the verse. So I think it's going to be really cool. I believe it's an 8-man cruise ship, but you could run it with a skeleton crew of 4. Might be a little bit tricky to run solo, but I really wouldn't care how difficult it is, because it's just cool. And it is very wide, hence why the wingtips sort of collapse in on themselves so that you're able to get it into a hangar, because it is a thick boy. It really is. But there's something about this ship that just appealed to me immediately. And I'm a big fan of Origin. I really am. I think everything they do is awesome. But this has got something else to it that just appealed to me non-stop. And this image here is great. This is a great image because it really puts it into scale, the size of this thing. So you can see we've got tricycle landing gear. And there's the exit to the so-called Tree of Life. Not the exit, sorry, the entrance. As you'd make your way in, I imagine you'd have all of your sort of stock that you found, all the rarities on display. So as people are walking in, they're already reaching for their wallets, you know, like, well, I'm going to buy that, I'm going to buy that, I'm going to buy that. And I think it's going to be a very interesting game loop for you to go around the verse, find all these rare things, park up somewhere popular, open your door to your random customers, you know. And I think security will need to be hired. I think when we get the NPC hiring, I think security and shop workers are going to be needed to run it effectively, you know. It's going to be interesting to see how this ship pans out. Not to mention, we do have a massive cargo ramp, or elevator, I should say, really. And it is got plenty of room in this ship. 2,800 SCU. It is classed as a heavy freighter, so it is going to be a very, very, very thick boy with plenty of room. I don't think I will ever have enough money to fill that cargo bay and then do some cargo running with it. I mean, 2,800. I mean, heavy freighter it is classified as, so kind of makes sense, but that is a lot of cargo space. And then we move to the exterior of this ship, which, if I had to describe with this particular image, is just ornate, isn't it? It's like it's kind of got a concierge vibe to it, standard. I don't know why I would ever want to buy a paint for this, because if it launches with this particular scheme that we see here, that to me is just, that is beautiful for me. That is an extremely handsome looking ship with the design materials that they use. And again, that goes back to the Banu being showboats, you know. They want to show you the best of the best and everything they've found. They want to excel in everything they do. And with the materials that they've used for the exterior, it kind of makes sense. The interior, plenty of space in this ship. It's going to be very, very roomy indeed. Let's take a look at some of the things that we are going to be able to play with in the future. So we have the marketplace public entrance, we have a public elevator, crew access, an engineering deck, turret access, bridge, med lab, hangar, cargo room, cargo control, docking collar, storage, 2 markets, a guest room, a sanctuary, and a conference room. That is quite a lot of things in one ship. That's quite impressive. That's another thing that kind of lured me in. I kind of like the idea of having like a spaceship which is a flying shopping centre, but yet has conference rooms, sanctuary, you know, the comfort. It offers up so many revenue streams, I guess, and interesting game loops for sure. So you could definitely bounty hunt in this, no problem. You could definitely do cargo running, not a problem. And then once you come across all your valuables, like I said, open up your markets, you're good to go. Now these areas highlighted in blue are the public areas, so these are the areas of the ship they will have access to. You'll notice that the crew have their own elevator shaft, if you will, just to get in and out without interfering with the public, because no one likes to be around the public. Public are disgusting. Ugh, gross. So they take their own little route into the ship, but still, it's going to be an experience. I really hope I can get my hands on one. I really want to do a tour of this ship because I just think it's going to be awesome. So here we have the sort of entry ramp, as we saw earlier, that we will use to get in and out the ship. Well, the public will, to get in and out the ship. They talked about it at CitizenCon as being the Tree of Life. So, and they discussed a little bit that you'd be able to walk up and you'd have all your wares and things that you'd found, you know, on display, getting people's wallets ready. So it's going to be like a very sort of ornate grand entrance into the ship, which, you know, I'm a sucker for that sort of grandeur sort of vibe. You know, that's why I like the Origin ships so much, because they're all a bit, you know, oh, look at me, I'm so popular, I'm so important. I like that vibe. So it kind of puts things in scale. I mean, it's the shapes and design language of this ship that sort of drew me in as well. It's not alien is in the sense of what is this. It has its own sort of style and sense of purpose. That sort of draws me in. Not sure why. It's just something I must have. I will try very hard to get my hands on one of these. And I would probably sell some packages to get it. I can definitely see me doing that. So in terms of just game loops, exploration, I think this ship is going to be very, very, very well equipped to do these things. There's just the size of it as well is going to be awe-inspiring, I think. I'm not sure how much will change until we get it. Hopefully not a lot. I really like the way the ship is turning out from what I've seen, and compared to previous concept images. I mean, I think this here is going to be the market area, or one of the market areas, so you'll have separate stalls around with your NPCs selling stuff, or this could be the sanctuary. Either way, it's going to be awesome. You know, it's kind of like an Alien Origin vibe. You know, the Banu have sort of got that luxury vibe to them as a species. They want to sort of show. Okay, so that would have been the sanctuary. I would guess this will be the sort of one of the market areas, right? You'd have your NPCs selling various goods with security around and everything, but it's all very posh is probably the best way to describe it. But I'm very much looking forward to getting in there, having a look around and doing all of this sort of stuff. This ship has definitely intrigued me more than some of the others, but I do want the 890 jump. That is another ship that is a must-have for me. But I think, in all honesty, if I was to get my hands on one of these, I can't ever really be upset and going, well, I need the 890 jump now, from what I've seen in this ship. So this would be the conference area here. So this is where I can imagine you getting all kinds of deals in place, you know. You bring them in, whoever it might be, this is where all the deals are to be had, trade deals. And you want to show off your sort of, well, the Banu want to show off their ornate designs, and you can see with like even the design of the seats here, it's all very posh, glamorous, but not pretentious. There we go, not pretentious, you know. It's subtle. It's subtle beauty, I think, is the best way to describe it. But yeah, so I can imagine all trade deals being done in this room, you know, in the future. You bring these people in, you make the deals, you get your trade deals, you show off your ship, your market. It's going to be really good. I mean, I'm really enjoying, from what I've seen, like I said, at CitizenCon, this ship is definitely impressing me. The more images I see it and the more time I watch it, it's going to be something unique, it's going to be something special, that's for sure. So it's going to be a very good ship for me, I think. But we have to be realistic. Is it going to be easy to run? How much is it going to cost to maintain and keep the ship running? How much is it going to be to rearm it, refuel it, to crew it? NPCs won't be cheap. If you're in an org, it could work out fine. So these are all things we need to consider. Despite its pros, it's certainly going to have some cons, right? So that is something that needs to be considered. But I won't know until I have one, and I hope that I can get one, because I would love to get in one of these and do a tour of it and really get into the nits and grits with it, you know. So these are things that we need to consider. I don't expect the combat performance to be brilliant at all, because it's going to be a very big ship, very cumbersome, but if you can whip out those size 8s and head on something, I think you'll be alright. But there are going to be vast areas of the ship to explore, discover, and I think the market is going to be a key selling point, literally. No pun intended though, because that is going to be the main way that you're going to draw income to run this ship, right? So you're going to have to traverse the verse, find all these rare items and things that you know people are going to want, and then display them and sell them at a marked up price, because you're going to want a profit. You know, you've got to weigh up how much did it cost me to travel to this location, get down onto the surface, find this particular item, bring it back, and then take it to another system perhaps to sell it. You're going to have to work all that sort of stuff out, which is awesome. I like all that nerdy, geeky stuff. You know, you're going to have to make a profit. So there's all these things that we could do to make profit. So there's another sort of window of opportunity there to earn Alpha UEC or UEC when the time comes. So a lot to think about, but I still want it. There's nothing really putting me off of this ship, and the more images you see, I mean, this is a corridor that looks fantastic from what I can see. Excellent lighting, love how it bends round. Got some dude at the back having a great time because he's in a merchantman and I'm not. So yeah, he's having a laugh. But the Banu take pride, you know, they in their designs. They're not a fussy race either, so they will take the best technology from any race. So if the humans make, I don't know, a weapon that they think is superior to their own, they will use it and stick it on their ship. If the Vandals have a better shield component, they will take it and stick it on their, you know, they don't care. They just want the best of the best, which kind of makes them unique in that sense, and I think that sort of reflects in the designs that I've seen of this ship. Here we have another corridor, again with another NPC or whoever, just enjoying life, because look where he is. Gorgeous place to sit, walk and be around, I imagine. Also, I don't think the crew are going to have any sort of problems staying on this ship. 8-man crew, 4-man skeleton crew, for long durations of time, because there are just so many areas of this ship that are pleasant to be in. I really don't see crew comfortability being an issue. I imagine you could explore in this ship for long periods of time and not get too overwhelmed by it all, sorry. You know, it's going to be a great place to live. It's going to be a great place to earn a living. Not to mention, you're going to have different species of customers walking into your two marketplaces all the time. Who knows what will happen? So even opening up your markets and your cargo elevator, it's going to offer up so many different unique interactions with other players and other races of aliens and other species of aliens, and it's going to be a ship that provides its own adventure, which is another sort of aspect that I get sold on, because you just don't know, you know, every situation will be different, and I like that. One of the key things with me as a gamer is I get bored so ridiculously quick, very quickly, but this game offers me so much to do that it's nearly impossible to get bored. And that's what draws me into this game. And the fact that they've made a ship with all of these opportunities, and as beautiful and ornate as it is, it's just awesome. And it's why I've got to have one. So again, here we have cargo, okay? We have a cargo crane, which will make life easy. Easier, I should say. Easy is probably a little bit of a harsh term, because at some point we are going to have to manually load our cargo. We can hire NPCs, maybe the equipment to do it, but the merchantman has its own cargo crane here, so that's going to make things a little bit easier in the future, one would hope. And here is an image of the cargo bay. How big is that? How big is that? I mean, that's ridiculous, right? 2,800 SCU of space. Whether or not that changes, I'm not sure. There could be quite a few things that change on the ship. That's why I didn't want to delve too much into the specs, because things could still change, because we haven't actually got it here yet, have we? So best not jump into that just yet. But plenty of room there. You know, it's going to be an interesting ship to operate. And here we have some images of the bridge area, which again, looking at the design, very clean, very simple to navigate. I love that sort of feeling that you get walking through the bridges of simple but gloriously well designed shit like the 400i. It's drop dead gorgeous. Imagine what this is going to be like. So you have the previous image, and then what it is now to date. So whether or not we get any more changes, I don't know. I hope not, because I actually really like the look of how it is now. So you got the 4 crew at the front, the back-to-back seats, which is really cool, and then I'm guessing we have like the captain's seat way at the back, barking out orders, I guess. Here's another concept with the nav table as well. The 2 Banu there discussing where they're going to go to get some rare loot, I guess. So yeah, those are just some of the reasons why I need to get my hands on one of these ships. I envy the people that bought one when it was $250, because no doubt it will have a price hike, but I don't care, because I'll pay the price, because it will make me happy. I don't care. It's a ship I've got to have, and you know, sometimes it's not about what a ship can do, sometimes it's about how a ship makes you feel, and I think that's an important thing that gets overlooked quite a lot. You know, if it makes you feel good, then price doesn't matter, does it? So, very much looking forward to this ship. Guys, what do you think of this ship? Are you looking forward to it? Are you going to try and get one? Let me know down in the comments. That's going to wrap this video up. It's been quite a long one, but if you made it to the end, well done. You are a trooper. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what buttons to press, and I will have more content en route to your location very soon. Cheers.
Let me connect this with the problem of birth.